Hey guys, Brady here, and I just saw Dunkirk, and I also saw Valerian. I'm gonna review Dunkirk first because I kind of want to get this off my chest. So Dunkirk is about the evacuation on the land of Dunkirk, um, and so yeah, this movie was visually amazing. Like the sound and everything like that, it was really good. The music was suspenseful, but there are some scenes where music is suspenseful, but it's but I'm not in suspense. Like I wasn't as suspense as the music wanted me to be. That's because the characters in this movie are very thinly written. Not because there wasn't much development. It's that they didn't have any names, so you couldn't really like latch on to the characters and be like, hey, yeah, I hope this character makes it, or I hope that character makes it, because you don't really know who the characters' names are. I mean, if you look up on IMDb, that's fucking cheating. You'll realize that they have like very normal names, they're like Alex and Mark and all that other stuff. But actually, what's his face? Not Tom Hardy. Uh, I'm trying to think of his name. Harry Styles' character is named Alex. I only knew that because of IMDb. But what's it called? The only character I heard someone say in the movie was George, and that was like this little boy who was on Mark Rylance's boat. Yeah, Mark Rylance was pretty much the only character I gave a shit about in this movie. Um, and yeah, I mean, just because you see your favorite actor in a movie doesn't mean you actually give a shit about that character. Um, Tom Hardy was in the movie. Okay, I mean, you look at it like this. You like the movie The Counselor with Brad Pitt, Cameron Diaz, Michael Fassbender, and all the other shit. Yes, it's great to see those actors in there, but it's like, okay, the movie wasn't good, so why should they give a shit that Brad Pitt's in there? I don't care if Brad Pitt is in the movie because it's Brad Pitt. It's kind of how I feel with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's character, his character was good, but I just didn't really give much of a shit about him because we didn't really know too much about him other than the fact that he's an Air Force pilot. And so yeah, it's kind of so pretty much in order to rescue these people, they send like the British sends three Air Force uh, pilots to rescue these people. Three. They have a whole fleet of Air Force pilots, and they release, and they have three to go rescue them. Why didn't you let the other people rescue? I don't know. I know it sounds like I'm shitting on this movie. I don't want to shit on this movie. This movie is actually good, but I don't think it's as great as people are saying it is. And I'm kind of on both sides. I'm kind of on like, uh, I guess I'm leaning towards more of Jeremy John's side than I am like Chris Tuckman's side. Um, but it kind of is this. And I was reading some reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, like not like the critic reviews, but they like like the user reviews. Some kid is like, this feels like it should have been like a roller coaster, like the Dunkirk experience, because that's pretty much what it is. I mean, when you're on a roller coaster and you have like one of those immersive roller coasters, like interactive kind of things, you don't really know the characters' names in the roller coaster. That's pretty much what this movie is. You don't know who the characters are, so it's pretty much on the Dunkirk experience. It'd work if it was a documentary, but this is like a multi-million-dollar movie. Um, so yeah, this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and it, I don't know. This right here, this is a better movie. But yeah, I gave a shit about Mark Rylance's character. I gave Harry Styles in this movie. Harry Styles. I was not expecting to like his character at all in this movie, but Harry Styles actually, his acting blew me away. Like he wasn't in the movie much. He didn't really have much to do, but for what he was in, I was like, wow, he's actually a really good actor. And this is actually his first movie, not counting his One Direction theatrically released movie that came out in like 2013. This is his first acting in a movie, and he actually did really good. Um, I kind of gave a crap about his character Not as much as Mark Rylance's character. Mark Rylance, I feel like his character is a little bit more fleshed out, even though I don't really know his name other than me calling him Mark Rylance's character. But I actually really cared about his character. Harry Styles was really good in this movie for what he did. He was in it for like maybe a good 10 minutes. They show him, but he doesn't really talk. There's not really much talking in this movie. And speaking of not talking, it probably took Tom Hardy a lot to memorize his lines. His lines, he had lots of lines. I mean, he probably had like 2 lines of dialogue in this hour and 45-minute movie, 47 minutes. My bad. But yeah, what else is there to say? And Christopher Nolan was like, "Oh, you guys are gonna love Harry Styles' character. His character pretty much is probably pretty much like a reminiscence of what Heath Ledger's Joker was, and that's a pretty bold statement to put on a first-time actor. And was this character as great as Heath Ledger's Joker? No. It's great confidence boost for young Harry Styles, but pretty bold statement. Just wasn't like, I don't know, it kind of overhyped his role a bit. I mean, I know you want to give this guy like an acting career, but really saying his acting, not his acting, but his characters as like big as Heath Ledger's is kind of like pushing it a bit. And then Christopher Nolan was like, "Oh, I'm trying to make a realistic World War II movie." Oh, that's great and all, but if you want to make a realistic World War II movie, why make it PG fucking 13? When you can't show any blood or limbs flying everywhere. I mean, you could show limbs flying. This movie showed limbs flying, but it was in a faraway distance. If you wanted to show limbs flying, show it in a faraway distance. But you want to make a realistic World War II movie, have it be rated R. Because then that's fucking realistic. You're showing like blood splatter everywhere, and it's, well, you're just supposed to feel in the moment in this movie. That's the point of this movie. You're also supposed to feel like you're a part of it. I didn't really feel like I was a part of this ride with the characters. But yeah, I think sacrificing the characters in this movie, like character-wise, like not having us latch on to the characters, not knowing much about them other than that they're in this war or part of this evacuation, is really not good for the story, because you're really not really rooting for anyone. And yeah, Tom Hardy's on screen. He's flying an airplane, but who cares? Kenneth Branagh was just there staring into space for like the majority of the movie. He's just there to just like, oh, they're coming. Oh, I see them. Oh, I see that. He didn't really do much, Kenneth Branagh. The only person that really did shit was Mark Rylance's character and Harry Styles. So, in actuality, So in the end, I'm just going to give Dunkirk 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's not disappointing, just isn't as good as it thinks it is. It thinks it's being a very great, masterful World War II movie, when in reality, it's not really one of the best World War II movies. I'd say maybe, don't kill me for this, Unbroken, that Angelina Jolie World War II movie was probably a little bit better than this. I mean, the movie, an hour and 47 minutes, perfect runtime for this movie. It does make you feel like you're in the moment because it's an hour and 47 minutes long. If it was like anything longer, like 2.5 hours, it would have felt kind of dragging a bit. But hour 47 minutes, perfect length for this movie. But yeah, if it was any shorter, it'd feel rushed. If it was any longer, it dragged. So, rushing or dragging. So, if you guys want to see Dunkirk, go see it. But it's not as good as Christopher Nolan's other. It's not as good as Memento. It's not as great as the Dark Knight. It's not as great as Inception. I think it's better than Interstellar. I think Insomnia is a little better than this. And I haven't seen The Prestige yet. I really, really want to see The Prestige, but I haven't seen The Prestige yet. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 stars. 3.5 out of 5 stars.